Forget all of the new kids at Rome because we have a Sinner Alcaraz final. This is going to be me and Ben's big preview. We're going to be speaking about Jasmine Paolini absolutely demolishing Coco Gauff as well. So stay tuned on a big episode.
It's the big one. We're getting ready for it. I hope everybody else is at home. It's Jannik Sinner versus Carlos Alcaraz. It's Jannik Sinner's first tournament back after 3 months off as a suspension, and he's playing better than ever. And Carlos Alcaraz, he's not even playing his best tennis, yet it's enough to get past all of these amazing players that he's managed to knock out the tournament so far. It's the match that everyone wants. It's the biggest match in tennis right now, and it's the first ever time we're seeing it in a Masters final. It's in Italy, it's in Rome. We've had already an Italian champion in Rome. Is it going to be two, JG?
Well, something to note is in the ATP race, which shows who the best players in 2025 have been, you've got Carlos Alcaraz number 1, and you've got Jannik Sinner in number 2. And I think that's quite fitting because Sinner has not been on the tour for 3 months and we're only in May, and yet he's number 2. You'd have to think if he was to play in them months, he would be a player in the world because he's simply that good. And when Jannik Sinner's on, no one can stop him. But my intro was funny because I'm talking as if them two are the old guard. We've spoke so many years about Federer, Djokovic, Nadal. I feel like Carlos Alcaraz and Sinner, they've been on the tour for quite a while now. They're like the more experienced players. They're more seasoned, which is crazy to think because Alcaraz is 22 and Sinner is 23, almost 24. We've been speaking about some other players coming on the tour this year. Of course, Jakub Mensik being one of the big ones, Jack Draper as well. But Alcaraz is still younger than Jack Draper. And we spoke about Coco earlier on the last episode, how she's still breaking records for youngest player to achieve this, youngest player to achieve that. She's been on tour for about 5-6 years. Alcaraz is doing the same thing. And it is remarkable. And I think sometimes you need to put that into perspective, the fact that Alcaraz is still so young, but yet he's been on the tour for some time. And we expect him as a more experienced seasoned player inside the top 10 right now to be doing this. He's got more experience than a lot of players inside the top 10, which is crazy to say. Of course, you've got someone like a Zverev who's been there for many years. Tsitsipas struggling to get into the top 10. But the difference is Zverev hasn't actually gone on and won the big Grand Slams. He's done well in the Masters, but he's not had the success. But this one is Rome. We're going to have to speak about the final. I think both players have been really good leading up to it. Sinner's had maybe some more wobbles than Alcaraz, especially against Tommy Paul. But aside from that, he was perfect against, Casper Ruud in the round before. Yeah. And I don't know who is favourite really for this final. I'm assuming the bookies will have Sinner, but I would say because Sinner's shown that he can wobble for a set, Alcaraz, I think, may just edge it in terms of my favourite.
Wow. Yeah, it's a very subjective selection of how you predict how this match goes. And I'd love to know everybody else watching's thoughts in the comment section of how you envisage this match going. Because like you said, I see it the opposite way to the way you've seen it, to be honest. I know you say you've seen a wobble from Sinner. I think Alcaraz has looked more there for the taking, but maybe the players who he's been playing haven't been able to quite sustain their level for long enough in a set, and he's pushed his level up high enough just to get past players. But that could just be being an incredible player at the top of the game, like we've seen with your Rafas, your Djokovic's, Federers. They have another level when you get to a business end. I think the interesting thing, like you were saying about the age with Carlos Alcaraz, with Jannik Sinner, this type of thing, is Carlos Alcaraz, this isn't his first rodeo when we were talking about going to a Masters final. Look at this. I mean, we're back in 2022, he won his first one. And that was, well, he's 22 now. That was when he was 19 years old. And he won 2 that year. He won 2 the next year. He won 1 the next year. And he's already won 1 this year. So it's like for someone of his age to be picking up all these big titles, You'd say he's probably been winning more when he was younger, but I think he was a new entity on the tour. No one quite knew what to expect. He was explosive, didn't have as many injuries then. But now he's already picked up the Monte Carlo one on the clay and the Italian Open. He's only ever played once and he got to the third round. He's been absent for all of the other times he's played it. Whereas Jannik Sinner, his trajectory on Masters events has been slightly different, but as in the last year or two, it's
Different player.
really got good.
With Sinner, it's completely different because he's since being sick in the bucket in what was it, Beijing or out in China, I believe, Shanghai maybe. He's been unstoppable and just been very dominant. Alcaraz, we've not seen the same period of dominance. He's just been a very top player for a longer duration, and that's why I say he is a very experienced, seasoned player. He's been on the tour for quite a few years now. He's been winning for many years. And Sinner's another one who's been playing on the tour for many years. He just wasn't as good. He was a kind of a 20, 30 in the world type of player, maybe sort of 10 to 50, 10 to 20. But now he's the best, the very best as well. And just to counter your point, so you said that you think Alcaraz had more wobbles in this tournament, but yet he's played Draper and Musetti, who you could argue have been two of the most informed players this year, two players who have shown they're fantastic on the clay. Specifically Musetti, actually. I think he's been probably top 3 players on clay this year, definitely top 5. And he beat both of them in straight sets. So yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure how you've come to that conclusion that Alcaraz has looked shakier. The fact that he's been beating everyone in straight sets.
He dropped a set to Karen Khachanov. Yeah, exactly. So obviously you're getting better as the tournament goes through. He was down a break in the first set to Draper. He was 4-2 down in that one. He obviously came through and won 4 games in a row. Musetti, he looked a bit shaky. Even at the end of sets when Musetti was able to force it to a tiebreak, but then he had another level in the tiebreak to raise it up to. And there is still this element of being erratic with Carlos Alcaraz. That's obviously the excitement that he brings as well. There could be a big forehand winner, or it could be a big, like he had a few shanks against Draper, this type of thing. I just think that the way
Sinner's been breadsticked. Sinner has been breadstick, and that shocked all of us.
Yeah, but it was one set, and what happened in the set afterwards? Boom, turn God mode on again and won 6-love, and that's the problem with this match. Is if he plays like that first set, he will definitely lose this first set to Alcaraz. There's no argument about that. Alcaraz will do exactly the same if he plays that same level. But if Sinner plays that level that he played against Casper Ruud and the way he played in the last 2 sets against Tommy Paul, can anyone beat him?
But why did we see such a big change from the first set to the second set with Sinner? What was it down to?
Well, he said it was the conditions. He was playing later in the day. It was colder. He said that it was the balls were heavier, and he said he wasn't used to play. He hadn't played that condition yet since coming back, and that was the adjustment. It was the first set. He just sort of was caught cold. Tommy Paul played incredibly. Let's be fair to Tommy Paul. In that semi-final, I thought he played very well. He just wasn't able to even grab a game in that second set. And he was even hitting big winners to be able to get past Sinner in some of those. But it's just not enough. Jannik Sinner, the thing with Jasmine Paolini as well, it reminded me a little bit of the movement of Jannik Sinner. Her movement is so good. Jannik Sinner's movement, he gets to everything and he gets everything back, but he gives you a little bit extra on the end. So you're always on the defensive, it seems. Carlos Alcaraz needs to be on his top game. There's no shadow of a doubt that he has to play his best tennis to win this final. He's got the whole crowd against him. He's got Jannik Sinner. If he goes into God mode, I don't know if it's possible that Alcaraz can defeat him when he plays like that. But if anyone can, Alcaraz possibly can. That's why it's so exciting.
Yeah, the bookmakers have Sinner the favourite 1.67 to Alcaraz 2.2. I've already said I think the value was in Paolini in the last one, 2.75. Shout out to anyone who did that following my preview. I think she was fantastic, and we'll speak about Paolini right now because I've got a lot to say. People know I'm a big admirer of her. I think it was super special, the victory happening in Rome. Yeah. She did say, I don't know if I can find the tweet right now, but it was, here we go. I used to come here as a little girl just to watch. Now I'm holding the trophy. What a dream. Thanks to my amazing team, family, friends, and fans. Huge respect to Coco. And yes, we've still got the doubles final tomorrow. Forza. And some lovely photos of her there kissing the trophy. Just what a champion. She's a very likable character. There was a moment in the match where she fell over. The first thing she did was get up and smile. And you don't really see many people with that kind of charisma and energy on a tennis court. I found, well, you mentioned to me as well, the way she was hitting the ball so deep, finding the baseline every time, just not allowing the opponent any opportunity to step in and hit big forehands and dominate. She took the match to Coco Gauff. And as the underdog, with a lot of pressure, because sometimes we often say playing at home, it's an advantage. You're going to have the crowd with you, but that does add another element of pressure. But she dealt with it perfectly with a smile on her face. She looked comfortable out there. I'm hoping she goes and wins the doubles final too. It's a special time for Italian tennis, and she is a player I really like. I did have her making the final. I had Saba the other side and had Saba winning, but I'm really pleased that Sabalenka didn't make the final, because I think beating Coco Gauff is a better matchup for Paolini than maybe a Sabalenka.
Yeah, Coco Gauff, slightly more of a defensive style player, like a counter puncher. And I think it probably benefited Paolini that Coco Gauff played her longest ever match, literally the match before, 3.5 hours on court. It finished very late. And I even thought, I know people didn't get to hear my thoughts on my prediction. I thought that maybe experience would play a factor in the final, and we'd see Paolini win the first set and Coco Gauff come back maybe and win using her experience, but it just wasn't the case. Paolini was just so good, relentless. I think her foot speed around the court is just one of the fastest I've ever seen. She gets to everything, and these are like balls put right in the corner. She's like goes off to the corner, boom, back. I mean, she was getting them back right on the baseline. Then we're getting that forehand inside out winner from her. You never know where she's going to hit the ball as well. She disguises it so well just till the last second. And Coco Gauff just looked like, what am I supposed to do about that? Just flying past her at the baseline. She hit a few winners of her own, but I think they were out of frustration a lot of the time. She just went for even bigger, Coco Gauff. It was destiny. Jasmine Paolini was destined to win this.
Yeah, and Paolini confessed afterwards. She said it was her best performance of the tournament. And
Definitely.
As a player, you want to produce your best results in finals when it matters. Coco also said, she quoted Daniel Medvedev of all people and said, it's better to lose in finals than first rounds, which I think is true too. So credit to her for getting some extra prize money, going far, building up her ranking, having a great experience. And I think it does put her in a good spot for Roland Garros as well. She's got to be up there as one of the contenders, definitely in the top 5 with Paolini now. And I think anyone who doesn't consider her as a contender for Roland Garros has not been watching tennis. She's fantastic. And she's becomes the first Italian woman to win Rome since Raffaella Reggi in 1985. Proud day for Italian tennis. It could be even prouder come a few hours this evening if Jannik Sinner's to do it too. But we'll give our prediction of that one in a minute.
Yeah, and if you look at this, I know that she got questioned by Tim Henman and the rest of the UK crew at Sky Sports about her runs at the Italian Open in the past. As you can see, first round, second round, first round, second round, second round, and now she wins it. You can see the level up that she's done after winning. Obviously, she won Dubai last year and she made the Miami Open semi-final. She's obviously been to some finals in slams now. It's just what it couldn't happen to a nicer person, really. You watch her on court, like you say, smiling all the time, always got something nice to say about her fellow tennis players. I thought Coco Gauff lost with a lot of respect for Paolini as well. She wasn't the type of player to just like shake hand and then just walk off. She gave her a hug, that type of thing. And I think
I saw the mums hanging out as well.
Exactly what I was going to. There they are. Yeah. There's the mums of both of the finalists. The prettiest mums, it says there. Look at that. That's a really nice picture. I love that. This is like one of the nicest things in tennis. Two young tennis players and their mums just hanging out after the fact. There's no like animosity. They're both just proud of their daughters, which I mean, like you said, Roland Garros is on the horizon, and now we've got so many names in the hat for people who could potentially challenge for that title on the women's side. And it's just so exciting. I don't know who's going to win Roland Garros this year. I think our draw preview is probably going to be the most exciting one that we've ever done for the women's.
With Rome, though, sometimes winning Rome could be a curse for Roland Garros because you often go out early. The difference with Paolini is I feel her style is very sustainable over many, many events of the year. And that's why I put her so high in my top 10. What we saw her do last year, going to Roland Garros, then Wimbledon final, is a very difficult thing to do. We've seen Rafa over the years, as good as he is. It's a difficult challenge. Alcaraz spoke about it as well, someone who's won both. It's a very difficult thing to go from the clay to the grass and be able to physically adapt without any injuries and problems. And that's why we see so many injuries. The back end of Roland Garros, because it's been a tough, grueling clay court swing. And then, especially when you go on to Wimbledon, people pulling out at Wimbledon, we see it all the time.
Yep.
With Paolini, obviously, anything can happen, touch wood. I think that her style is so sustainable that I'm very confident with her going into Roland Garros and Wimbledon now. She just needed that extra bit of confidence boost and a year to start, because up until now, she's not reached the heights of last year. But then yet she's not got to her favourite tournaments yet. And they're coming around now at the perfect time. Iga's faltering. So Paolini, I believe, should be very, very pleased with the position she's in.
Yeah, and just having a quick look at the WTA race as well, she is up to number 7 in the race, which is fantastic for her after that win.
Big boost, yeah.
Yeah, and if she has a good Roland Garros, she's going to be right up there, isn't she? Obviously, Sabalenka leading the way, clearly the best player on tour this year. But Paolini, if she strings together a few good matches over this, the end of the clay court swing and then the grass court swing, could see her right up there in the top 3, I think, come US Open time.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's go back to the men's, though, and speak about that. This is a nice graphic put out by Tennis TV for the first ever Masters final between these two. And we've obviously got the Colosseum there in the background.
Yeah. I've sent you one I really like as well.
Okay.
So let's get both up. We'll have a look at both. And the reason I like the other one is because I think it shows their characters going into this final and the way they are in the tennis spectrum right now. You've got the ice cool Jannik Sinner and the fiery Carlos Alcaraz. I'm glad you reminded everyone as well. Here we go. This is it. I do like this one. It's good to remember this is their first Masters final playing against each other, right?
Yep.
We've not seen them play a Grand Slam final against each other, but we have seen them play semi-finals and maybe a quarter-final. We've definitely seen the back end of slams. It's going to be it may happen this year. It's going to happen very soon that we're going to see these two play in a Grand Slam final. But for now, we've got a Masters one. And Alcaraz last year, I'm going to remind you all, had the better of Jannik Sinner. So when Jannik Sinner was performing at his very best, Alcaraz was beating him. He beat him at Beijing, Roland Garros, and Indian Wells. Sinner, if you go down a little bit, he beat him. No, that was the year before, of course, because it was 3-0. Although, didn't they play? Was it an exhibition and then Sinner beat him?
You're talking about the Six Kings.
The Six Kings, he beat him. Obviously, that's not a licensed ATP. That was an exhibition. But yeah, Alcaraz had the better of him last year, and when Sinner was having his best ever year. So just put that into consideration going into this final. Also, the fact that as much as you're dismissing that set against Tommy Paul, I thought it was very concerning that he was able just to get breadstick by someone very comfortably. And there was concerns if he didn't start that second set brightly and change some things, he would have lost very, very quickly. I've not seen that same level from Alcaraz. Of course, he's been a bit lapsed in moments, down breaks, but he's been playing fantastic opposition and then been able to come back into it. So on that basis, I'm going to go straight with my prediction, Ben, and that is I believe Carlos Alcaraz will defeat Jannik Sinner in this final. I believe it's going to be 3 sets. I think it's destined to it with these two. And hopefully we get a really good final, which is competitive and no injuries and other problems. But I see Carlos Alcaraz coming through and winning it in 3.
Wow. And it could be being swayed by this. Obviously, the head-to-head before last year was 4-3 in favour of Jannik Sinner. Now it's 6-4 in favour of Carlos Alcaraz. I wanted to bring up one tweet before I give my prediction, and I think this is a very telling tweet and a very telling statement from the likes of Jannik Sinner. He said, "Since round 3, I have a small blister under my feet, which doesn't allow me to move in some moments. Today I felt it more than yesterday. Likewise, I'm not concerned. It's just a bit tight." That's his leg as well. No excuses. He said, and for the final, I'm 100% not concerned. Which this is a different Jannik Sinner. Remember the Sinner that pulled out of tournaments due to blisters before? This guy's got blisters and he doesn't care. He said the adrenaline will get him through this final. It doesn't matter what it takes. He will still be playing this final until like the bitter end. It's just a different Jannik Sinner right now, this guy. It's exciting.
It is, but I believe he's going to lose, Ben. Despite any of these blister talk, he's losing this final to Carlos Alcaraz.
Well, I think we're
going to have two underdogs win in the fact that it's going to be Paolini, Jannik, and Carlos Alcaraz. We're not going to get the Italian double. As much as, just for argument's sake, because people will say, "Oh, aren't you a big fan of Sinner, Jaron?" Yeah, I am. I do love Jannik Sinner, but I just don't believe that he's going to win this final in this situation. And I will be happy if he does win too. It's not like I'm going to be upset or anything. I love both players. I just feel that Alcaraz at this moment will win.
Wow. Well, I've already put out my prediction, but I will repeat it for anybody who's not seen the other preview. I think it's going to be the fairy tale comeback. I think it will be 3 sets, and I think Jannik Sinner will win in 3 sets, and it will be Paolini, Sinner, all Italian in Rome. What an end to amazing comeback for Jannik Sinner. That's my personal opinion.
And what about the women's doubles?
Paolini, yeah, they're winning it as well. I think it's a clean sweep. The Italians win it all.
Okay, what time's that one?
That one's I think it's 1 o'clock. I think it's the one before.
Okay, nice. Yeah, Kudermetova Mertens. It's 1 o'clock where I am, which probably is 3 o'clock where you are.
Correct.
There we go. So I think I agree with you. I think Paolini is going to win the doubles too. But let us know what you guys think in the comment section below. If you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and enjoy the final. It should be a blockbuster. You know where we stand on Game to Love. We're going to be watching it. Go and enjoy it, and we'll see you very soon.